Hi, today I'm going to talk about reading out loud and why it's a good technique to develop fluency of speech. So, speaking a foreign language is a multidimensional process. It involves many parts, but basically, two main parts are one, organizing what you want to say in your head, so organizing the words in your head, and then second is saying the words using your speech organs, your vocal cords, mouth, tongue, lips, etc. So, what reading out loud does is it isolates this two-step process, and it just focuses on the second step, which is the speech production. Because when you're reading something, you don't have to organize any words in your head because they're already organized in order on the piece of paper. So you don't have to conjugate any verbs. You don't have to figure out grammar because it's all written there. So all you have to do is say them. So this helps isolate the second part of the speaking process, which is using your speech organs to say what you want to say. So why is this, or first let's say, who is this technique good for? I'd say it's pretty much okay for any level language student, and you can do it with pretty much any language. It's easier with languages with a phonetic alphabet like Spanish or Italian or French. Really, you can do it with pinyin in Chinese, because you don't even have to understand what you're reading to practice this then, because it's phonetic. So the sounds you say are exactly identical to the way they're written. So even if you don't know what you're saying, you can still practice. You can't do this for something like English, because English is really not phonetic, so you may mess up in the pronunciation. You can't really do it for like Russian. You can't do it with Chinese characters. But anyway, it's pretty much students of all difficulties should use this technique, because, like I said, it helps to isolate the second part of the process, which is getting the words out fluently with your speech organs. Because speaking a language is like playing an instrument. You have to train your mouth, your tongue, your lips to produce certain sounds that aren't native to English, and you have to produce those sounds in a certain order. And sometimes that order it's really hard for us to produce it. It's like saying a tongue twister in English, because in tongue twisters, the sequence of sounds is very difficult it's not natural because it's not common in the normal language. So just like that, we have to accustom our speech organs to the foreign order, the foreign sounds, and also the foreign order of sounds in another language. So reading out loud helps to do that. So I'll give you an example. I'm just going to take... Okay, this is an old AP bio book. So you can do this with like an article, a story, anything. Just flip to front page. So I'm just gonna read. So this accomplishes a lot more than reading in your head. Reading in your head, I guess it's okay, but it doesn't really do much if you're looking to improve your speaking ability. Reading out loud, it accomplishes whatever reading in your head does, and plus it works on your speaking ability. The only difference is maybe like if you're really advanced and you need to get through some material, reading in your head is faster. But if you're trying to work on your speaking ability, reading out loud is much better. So I'm just going to read. Today, everyone knows that DNA is the molecule of heredity. You see how I messed up there? So why is that? Well, everyone messes up when they're reading. But when you're reading in a foreign language, the odds are you're going to mess up more often. You're going to stutter more. So reading out loud is good because it helps eliminate that. So let's see how... I'm going to read 3 lines. Let's see how many times I mess up. Today, everyone knows that DNA is a molecule of heredity. However, the fact... That's one. See, like, pausing, that counts. However, that fact has not always been widely accepted. Until the 1940s, many scientists believed that proteins were the molecules that make up genes and constitute inherited material. Alright, so I read that at a pretty fast pace, messed up twice, and I'm a native English speaker. So now, let me pull out a French book, see how many times I messed up here. I've studied French for like about 2 years. Alright, I'm just going to read a small passage here. Lorsque vous voulez exprimer ou nuancer une opinion, les connecteurs logiques sont d'une grande utilité pour faire ressortir les liens entre les différentes idées. And that there should be a liaison there, so that's one. Quelques-uns de ces connecteurs sont regroupés ci-dessous. All right, so that was just 2 lines. But see, like I've done this a lot with French, so even though I've never read this before, but since I've practiced it a lot, I've gotten accustomed to the sequences of sounds. Now, I'll show you another example with a Chinese thing that I haven't read before. And this is an example of why it's good to understand what you're reading, because if you understand what you're reading, you'll be able to understand the flow of what you're reading. You'll be able to understand where natural pauses go. Like, let me go back to this English thing, right? So since I can understand what I'm reading, I know when to pause and when to give emphasis and accent. Like I know that there are many instances where the hybrid individual is more fit than the homozygous condition. See, my pauses are natural there because obviously I'm a native speaker and I can understand what I'm saying, but maybe a non-native speaker would read it like, there are many instances where the hybrid individual is more fit than the homozygous condition. See, like those pauses weren't really natural because maybe I didn't understand what I was reading and I was just reading the words separately. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's better if you can understand what you're reading because it'll help you develop that fluency and know when to put the right accent. So like here, this Chinese passage. 我的生日，今天是我的生日，我的好朋友都来了。高先生以前是我的大学同学，现在他在一个公司工作，他很忙。白小姐是我的同事，她是华侨，在英国银行工作，她很漂亮，也很能干。Okay, that's not really a good example because I wasn't really stumbling there. But really the point is you'll be able to read more fluently if you can understand what you're reading because you'll understand where to put pauses. So anyway, like I said, this is a lot better than reading in your head because reading in your head doesn't contribute to helping you improve your speaking ability, helping you with fluency. So just to recap, reading out loud is good because it isolates the second part of the speech process, which is training your mouth to form foreign sounds. So definitely a technique that I recommend, and you can do it whenever you're reading anything. Alright, thanks for watching.